Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Dana Cahalan, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining us now on the Meijer Supercenter guest line, covering the Detroit Lions for Sports Illustrated's All Lions coverage of the Lion Lowdown. Our good friend Logan Lamorandier. Find him on Twitter at @LLamorandier. Logan, my friend, good morning to you. How are you? How's life? How are things? And thank you for taking the time to join us as always.
Of course. Good morning. All is well. Just kind of getting over what happened on Sunday. So lots to talk about. And, got to try to remain positive here.
You know, you said all is well, and I'm thinking to myself, really? Is all well? The Lions now fall to 0-4 as I put the red nose on, and I got the face paint out, and they played the in the background as I went full circus clown, thinking that they were going to win. Believed that they should have won that football game on Sunday. The road trip to Soldier Field, not kind to the Detroit Lions, losing 24-14. I still think they should have won that football game, though.
Interesting enough, yeah. I mean, you look at how many trips they had in the red zone, the first 3 trips, getting inside the 10-yard line and just coming away with no points. It was odd. And outside of that red zone play, you look at the rest of the game, and yeah, the defense wasn't great, but at the same time, you look at the final score, and it wasn't anything egregious either. So it just kind of fell on the offense not taking advantage of opportunities. And anytime that happens to the Lions this year, I think it's going to be bad news for them, because it's really the Lions can't afford with this talent level right now, and especially losing 2 of their top players to injury. They can't afford those type of mistakes, and they have to keep. You just can't do it. So to me, yeah, I do feel like the Lions, the scoreboard should have been a lot closer. I think talent-wise, yes, the Bears are more talented than the Lions, but at the same time, the Lions were right there with them. So it could have gone either way if it was a little bit more of a clean game by Detroit.
Are you surprised at the rate in which this team is attempting fourth downs? I mean, just regardless of the situation in Sunday's game, it feels like we've gone for more fourth down conversion attempts already this season than we have in years.
I know. It's like every fourth down, it's a little close. There's always used to just be a coin flip. I'm like, they could go for this, but now it's just like, yep, they're going for it. So yeah, I did find it interesting. I know there was a couple fourth down plays, especially near the goal line, that kind of got fans irked a little bit because they didn't make it. But that's just it's a double-edged sword. When you have an aggressive coach and you have a coach who's going to go for it on fourth down, it's going to look great when they work, and when it doesn't, you're going to be criticized. So it's just one of those things where, yeah, I am a little surprised at the rate they're going for fourth downs. And even Dan Campbell said at the his presser after the game that maybe he'll change up his strategy a little bit. And I do like that. He's remaining flexible, and I think he had his reasons for going for it. And I don't hate it. I know I want an aggressive coach. I like an aggressive coach, and just sometimes it's not going to look good when it doesn't go in your favor.
It's very interesting to me because, so many times throughout the course of football history, in fact, I'll give you a phrase that you can actually search on Twitter if you'd like to. The phrase is, I'll use quotation marks, but you don't have to, can't settle for field goals. Go ahead and type that in your Twitter search bar and look at all the fans who disagree with coaches for settling for field goals, whether it's high school, college, or professional football. Then the Lions get a couple of opportunities to put some points on the board facing a fourth down. They decide not to settle for field goals, and I feel like the same group of people who are telling me all the time, you can't settle for field goals, that's a loser's mentality. Well, here you go. They're going for 6, and guess what? I can't believe they're not putting the points on the board. Why aren't they just trying to kick the field goal? What do these people want?
I know, and that's how I feel a little bit as well. And I totally understand kicking the field goals in that situation, especially in when they were down 14-0, just taking the points on a 4th and 5. That's an obvious passing situation because you're not going to be able to run the ball. So that was a little bit more difficult. But I do agree that you have to go for it sometimes. But you look at historically, I know there's only 3 games before this, but at the same time, the Lions were doing very well in the red zone. They were one of the top red zone teams in the league. You look at their short yardage situations, and they were pretty good at that too. And even the last fourth down attempt, at the end of the game, if Goff makes a better throw, you probably you convert it and you look smart. But I get it. It's going to look bad if you have an aggressive coach that doesn't make plays. But you just have to go with kind of what your gut tells you. And I think the analytics actually even said to go for it on 4th and 1 towards the end of the game. So it's one of those things where it's going to be bad if you don't make it, and you're going to look smart if you do. And unfortunately, the Lions couldn't capitalize on really much of anything in the red zone in their 4th down.
First trip from the Bears, they come down the field. I mean, they march right down 12 plays, 75 yards. They score a touchdown. Lions, they return the favor. And it's like, okay, we're cooking now. Like, here we go. We're going to get a shootout here in Chicago. And the ball, Jared Goff steps up to the line. It literally is listed in the play-by-play as an aborted play as Jared Goff gets charged with the fumble. But the snap goes off his shoulder pad directly over the line of scrimmage, clears everybody, and then magically pops into the hands of a defensive lineman. Like that, to me, it was like, when you talk about gut punches like that right there, worst case scenario, it happens. Chicago comes right back down. They score. Lions turn it over on downs, going for it on the 4th and 5, in which you mentioned. They hold Chicago to a punt, and then guess what? They get right back into the red zone, 3rd down, and goal to go at the Chicago 3. That's where Jared Goff is sacked. It's recovered by Khalil Mack, and then the football IQ, he tries to pitch it. It's an illegal forward pass, but yada, yada, yada. I look at that, and I'm like, these trips inside the red zone, the offense is making progress. To me, like outside of the fumbles, because that's kind of ridiculous. It happens, but at the same time, I think I even saw you tweet about like hand size, and that was one of the knocks against Jared Goff. Like the Duke, that thing is a big football. Like that thing it's like picking up a helmet and trying to throw it. But do you think that there is, and maybe I'm a little crazy on my theory here, that everybody in that building is on the same page from a front office and coaching standpoint? We're like, hey, 4th downs, we're going to go for it because this season we literally have nothing to lose. Am I crazy to believe that they have conversations like, yeah, go for it? Because going 2-15 doesn't do anything for you.
No. And I think to win some games, the Lions are going to have to be aggressive. They can't play conservative, not with the defense they have and not with the offense they have. So that's just what it is. And Goff has historically, the snap that was early or premature that's not on Goff. But even, Goff's hand size does come into play a little bit. I think he has straight 9-inch hands, and I know we're going deep into the weeds here with the combine metrics, but at the same time, you do have to account for that. And 9 inches, like the minimal threshold to be a quarterback in the NFL is always 9 inches, and Goff just barely reaches it. And a lot of times, that's for fumbling issues. So that's been a concern with Goff, and then the interceptions. Not that was a concern against the Bears. That's been an issue too. So it's just the Lions have to play clean, but I totally think from as GM on down, they understand that they're going to have to be aggressive to win games, and that's just the nature of the beast right now. And it's a write-off season right now. You don't have a ton to lose right now. Dan Campbell's gonna try to win games, and it's not gonna come easy this year. So I just think it is what it is, and I'm not really. I think my expectations were the Lions would be a lot closer in this game, and it kind of stings a little bit that they weren't, especially coming off a good previous week against the Ravens, where expectations were increased a little bit. But at the same time, it just brought you down back to reality a little bit of just what this season is. And it's the first year of a rebuild. So it's not the worst thing in the world that the Lions are losing, because that's kind of what you expected this season, and it's how you almost get better. You need that draft position. And then right now, currently, there's only 2 teams that don't have a win, and that just helps the Lions at the end of the season.
And the other team's getting head coach getting lap dances, in the middle of a bar. Like, what are we gonna do? It's a meltdown in North Florida right now, which I can't say that I'm not enjoying right now, because I am. It's a fun storyline with Urban Meyer and the Jags. Like, get a little weird at night, whatever floats your boat. That's the point of the season that I'm in already, 4 weeks in. And for this Lions team, Logan, I looked at the Chicago game, and I honestly, I wasn't even mad about it. And I don't know. That's not necessarily a good thing for me, because a lot of my hopes and dreams ride with the Honolulu blue and silver. And, some people like to call me Rory. They like to say that they've never seen Rory the mascot and me in the same place at the same time. And I'm like, look, I can't get out of costume that fast. What do you want me to do? But I just feel like the writing is on the wall for the season. It was on the wall before the season even started. The football power index didn't give this team better than a 50% chance to win any game on their schedule going into the season. Like, this is the way that this year was going to work out. Now with the loss of Frank Ragnow with the toe, Romeo Okwara with an Achilles injury, that's not good, tearing his Achilles there. But losing Frank Ragnow, I mean, the offensive line, literally the strongest unit on this team. No Taylor Decker, now no Frank Ragnow this coming week against Minnesota. I don't really even know what to expect from that group, and they're not making life any easier on themselves.
Right, and that was supposed to be the strength of their team, and even Penny Sewell, after a hot start, it's kind of cooled down a little bit and looks more like a rookie. And you add in, no Frank Ragnow and no Taylor Decker, at least for now or this upcoming week. It's that strength of their team is now gone. And the Lions still had a decent run game even after that, but it's just tough. The Lions didn't have much margin for error or much margin for injury, and the injury bug has bitten them. And we knew full well that they don't have the type of depth that good teams do to overcome those injuries. So it's going to be a struggle, and I've accepted that. I accepted it early, and I've never been upset really about a loss this year, and that's just the way it is. So I agree with you.
And I'm not going to get bent out of shape over it either. We had this debate yesterday. Dan in the studio wants DeAndre Swift to be the guy. Or Jamal Williams, but I think he's leaning towards DeAndre Swift right now. He wants him to be the guy, be the starter, be the number one back, give him 20 carries a game for 3 straight games, and let's just see, can he be the bell cow back? I don't believe it's necessary. I think that, when you look at what Cleveland does with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, sure, Nick Chubb is the starter. That's fine, but, I mean, they split a ton of carries together. Kareem's a much more efficient ball catcher out of the backfield, so he gets more looks in the passing game. But it doesn't matter which one you sub in. It could be a run, it could be a pass. They're never going to tip their hand with which back is in the backfield. Does it matter that the Lions are splitting carries with DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams, or are you on kind of that side like, let's name a guy and let's let him be the workhorse and see what we have?
I don't. DeAndre Swift actually outsnapped Jamal Williams by quite a bit. So it's just the amount of touches, and I fully believe that Swift is the more electric player, but there's definitely a role for Williams in this offense. And I think I don't want to actually burn Swift out either, especially in a year that you're just trying to get through the year type of thing, because running backs have a short shelf life. DeAndre Swift especially has always dealt with injuries. I don't think you need to subject him to just grinding him into the ground type of thing. So I kind of like the setup that they have now, where in passing situations, Swift sure seems like the guy, but when it comes to running the ball off the gut, that's not Swift's forte. He does a lot of his best work out in space, and there's definitely situations in the game where you need more of a bruiser of running back, and I think that's what Jamal Williams is. So I was good last week with how they kind of played it out, and I think that's what they should use going forward, just to kind of save Swift. You hope that he's going to be the future and be around for more than a few years. And at the same time, in a year with pretty much zero expectations, I don't think you need to really run down the tread on Swift tires either.
This team or The Walking Dead on AMC, basically the same thing. When you look at Tim Boyle on IR, Taylor Decker on IR, I know Boyle's a third-string quarterback, but it's just another name that's on that injured list. Tyrell Crosby is on IR. Frank Ragnow officially listed as doubtful, but we can highly doubt that he is going to be able to play. Now Deshaun Hand and Kevin Strong, who are both on IR, joined by Romeo Okwara. Ifatu Melanfonwu, he is on IR. Jeffrey Okuda, obviously. Amani Oruwariye getting injured. Like this team, does this team need to look at what happened yesterday in Dallas with the releasing of Jalen Smith and perhaps maybe take a run at the former Pro Bowl linebacker? Like, they need some help. Why not add anybody you can?
Oh, yeah. At this point, whatever talent is out there and any talent that might be around for the future, I'm all for it. The Lions are in a spot right now where they can take chances on players that might not work out elsewhere, because you look at the Lions roster and they have quite a few starters that would not be starters on other teams. So if other players are getting cut, why not take a look at them and just really shuffle that roster around and do what you can. So yeah, Jalen Smith, especially at the linebacker position, I would be all for just at least give him a shot, see what he can do, because I don't, Anzalone, I know the Lions, I think, like him a lot more than most do, probably more than I do, and he's an all-effort player and a team captain, which makes it difficult sometimes to remove him from the field. He's the play caller, but you gotta really scrounge every, all the waiver wires, all the the practice squad players and see if there's anyone else that can come in and make an impact and set you up for the future. So I don't think any signings are off the table.
If you were worried about, Justin Fields and how good he looked, the level of concern is probably going to be through the roof as the Lions will travel to Minnesota this week for a 1:00 kickoff on Fox. They'll be playing the Vikings home, taking on Kirk Cousins, who's always a little flaky, but he's got Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen and Dalvin Cook, and I am concern rate is at an all-time high. Like right now, I'm just hoping keep this thing within 10.
Yeah, especially coming off of what happened last week and just the injuries that have been piling up. You look at Minnesota, it's tough to, again, it's one of those weeks where you don't imagine them winning, but it is the NFL, and just like the Ravens game, the Lions can make it a lot closer than you think it's going to be, and if you think the Lions are going to win, that's when they lose type of deal. So, to me, I'm not too optimistic about this week, and again, it's okay. It's sucky to admit, but it is okay.
What do the Lions do in the secondary, especially at the safety position? Because, poor Bobby Price being thrown out there, A.J. Parker, Will Harris. These guys just don't look and some people might blame the preparation. I don't think it's necessarily the preparation. It's easy to have a plan. All your plans go out the window the minute the first shot is fired, right?
Right. Yeah, it's I don't know. That's a good question. Very tough question because you never know. I don't. It's just at this point in the season, I don't. You know what the expectations are. That's pretty much it.
And at this point for these guys, it's get as much good film as you possibly can, and maybe there's a role for you somewhere with this team or with another team in the near future. He is Logan Lamorandier. Find him on Twitter at @Lamorandier. Find his work, Sports Illustrated's all Lions coverage and the Lion Lowdown. Logan, my friend, as always, I appreciate the time. Thank you so much. It's tough 4 weeks in, but we got to battle through.
I know. It's going to be a tough rest of the season, but hey, I said it all season long. It's the expectations. Just enjoy football while you have it, and that's it.